Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So for today's video, I am going to be discussing 5 realistic DeAndre Ayton trades to get him off of the Phoenix Suns, because I don't really think it's any big time surprise that the Phoenix Suns have a big time chemistry issue. And the chemistry issue is it seems like nobody wants to be there, which is really insane because they just won 64 games last season. Yes, the playoffs did not go according as planned, but only one team can win the championship. So when you're a 64-win team regular season squad, chances are you're going to be pretty much set up for success the next season also. But this team just lost to the 36ers in the NBA preseason. I'm not saying the 76ers, the 36ers, an Australian basketball team. And yes, it's easy to say, well, it's the preseason, it's really not that big a deal. But it also doesn't take like a master of psychology to know that the Suns just have off-the-court issues. And just nobody wants to be there, man. So yeah, we are going to discuss it for today's video on NBA 2K23. I'm going to show you guys the trades that I came up with. Keep in mind, there's 2 notes here. One is that DeAndre Ayton cannot be traded until January 15th because of the contract that he signed. And also, I think it's because he was a restricted free agent. He cannot be traded without approval by himself for an entire season. So you can't just like go and ship him off to San Antonio and try to get like Keldon Johnson out of it or something along those lines. Like, you just can't do that. Like, he's not going to go to a team that he doesn't want to go to. But at the same time, no disrespect here, but he was very excited to go to the Indiana Pacers, which the Pacers are like in a rebuild type of mode, although I do think he could be a missing piece to that. And, you know, when it comes down to it, like, if he's going to go to the Pacers, a rebuild situation, I can't really think of too many teams he would veto in this case and be like, I don't want to go over there. I think he's more so just like, I want to get off the Phoenix Suns. I want to start being treated like a #1 overall pick. I don't want to be treated like Clint Capella or DeAndre Jordan or, you know, Tyson Chandler, like just these inside pick and roll type of centers. Like, I got more skill sets than that, man. Let me free CP3, okay? All right, let's get going on this. So let's go over to the well, I guess first we should look at, like, who is DeAndre Ayton? Like, what does he do well on a basketball court? Why was your favorite team want him? Let's go to his stats real quick here. Don't look at the 2023 because I had to simulate to the actual January 15th deadline. But yeah, so last season, 17 points, 10 rebounds per game, shot 37% from 3. Like, field goal percentage is, you know, top notch in the NBA at about 30 minutes per game. Like, DeAndre's a great player. Like, I don't blame him for wanting, like, maybe a bit of a larger impact, but I also don't want to dismiss the fact that, you know, a lot of players in their stats, like, you can be a product of CP3. CP3 makes players look great. I just saw a graphic of DeAndre Jordan making the All-NBA first team years ago, and it's because Chris Paul was his point guard. And no disrespect to him either, saying, like, you know, you obviously gotta like, put in the work yourself, too. But, you know, DeAndre is a great player. But you could really say, you know, like, playing with somebody that doesn't have, like, the elite vision of CP3 could switch up those numbers, which I don't blame him for wanting to go to the damn Pacers, then, because Tyrese Halliburton looks like the next great playmaker, you know, of the NBA point guard position. So, here we go. Let's go to proposed trades and check some of these out. If you guys want to leave your best DeAndre Ayton trade in the comment section below, I love reading the comments and seeing all that stuff, so please feel free to do that. So, yes, DeAndre Ayton. So the first one we got to go through, the pretty obvious one here, this is the first of 5 trades, is a trade with the Indiana Pacers. So how exactly can you get him over to the team that he wanted to be on in the first place? Well, I think something along the lines of really the similar trade to Russell Westbrook and the Lakers they were talking about. Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, and I'm going to say 1 unprotected first-round pick. You might be able to argue 2 here, especially because, you know, Miles Turner's on an expiring deal. Buddy Hield only has 2 years left on his contract, and DeAndre Ayton just signed, you know, for a long-term period. So I would honestly say for this one, you're probably looking at 2 first-round picks. Just because, I mean, this is the former #1 pick here, right, man? So, by doing this, DeAndre gets to go over to the Pacers, you know, play with Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, build something over there. And then for the Suns, it's really important to note that I think they have one of, if not the best starting 5 in the NBA, top to bottom. So, you're not really going to get a player of equal impact back from DeAndre Ayton. And the issue that you run across here is that, you know, by trading DeAndre Ayton, the only position you really need at that point is a center. But if you're trading a center to a team, then, you know, chances are that they're also looking to upgrade the center position, so you're not going to get, like, just as good of center back. They don't need a point guard. They don't need a shooting guard. They don't need a small forward. They don't need a power forward. Like, they're set at those positions. So, at that point, you want to start looking at depth, and just start to, like, bolster up the bench and get some picks out of it. And I think this trade right here definitely does that. You have your starter, and you have Buddy Hield to be a big-time scorer off the bench. Play with CP3, Buddy Hield, or Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges. So, yeah, that is the first trade there, man. Alrighty. So, next up, trade number 2 that I'm personally thinking would, I think this one could definitely get it done. This is going to be a trade with the Chicago Bulls. And in this case here, the Phoenix Suns, they're going to be getting a veteran back on an expiring deal, which is good, going into free agency. I mean, DeAndre Ayton, they did sign him because they didn't want to, like, lose him for nothing. So it's like, you still free up some salary cap and everything doing this. So you get Vooch out of it. I'm also going to say Kobe White. This is somebody that can be their scoring 6-man. I think that's a great role for him, playing with campaign off the bench. Be a nice little dynamic backcourt. It gives you a little, transitional type of player. When CP3 does retire, it's like, well, we might not have, like, our future starting point guard, but, like, Kobe White will be fine for the time being. So you have him. And also, I'm going to say by doing this, because Vooch isn't, like, the biggest name anymore, I'm going to say, once again, 2 unprotected first-round picks. I do think, okay, we can't really do all one right now, but yeah, so pretend those are 2 first-round picks. So you get Vooch out of it. He goes instantly into the starting lineup. I think he embraces the role in the Phoenix Suns. Kobe White picks out of it, and then DeAndre Ayton gets to go and build something with Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, DeMar DeRozan, obviously, over on the Bulls. So yeah, that is trade number 2. Let's go to my third trade. DeAndre Ayton over to the Clippers. I think the Clippers are one of those teams that have like just so much depth that you could essentially trade away like 3 of those guys and it's not really going to affect them too much. But out of it, the Suns are going to get some really solid role players and picks, man. So this is going to be a trade of getting Zubats to be the new starting center. Once again, not going to get somebody as good as DeAndre Ayton. It's just not going to happen. So getting Zubats, which, how did he do last season? 10 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block per game. Knows his role, plays it great. So you get him. I'm thinking you would also get a Marcus Morris. And the reason I like the idea of Marcus Morris on this team here is just, he's somebody that I think can play that role that Jay Crowder didn't want to, and that is now backing up Cam Johnson. Like, Marcus Morris off the bench will be completely fine. And I honestly think will be a good mentor to Cam Johnson, maybe bring a little extra toughness to him too. So you get him, and also just for another sharpshooter off the bench, we're gonna go with Luke Kennard, who was a 46% three-point shooter last season, and once again somebody that I think works nicely in that Phoenix Suns type of offense. And I think once again too, you're probably looking at 2 first-round picks, right? Because none of the names here are absolutely huge names, and you're getting DeAndre Ayton. So 2 first-round picks. This trade, you might even be able to argue 3, but I think the quality of just role players you're getting back is pretty damn good. So, yes, that is the next trade on the list. Okay, so next up we have trade number 4. And this trade right here, I probably would say, yeah, this is another case where I'm wondering if I think if DeAndre Ayton would want to play for this team. I think he would. And this is going to be a trade with the Charlotte Hornets. And the reason I say that is, like LaMelo Ball, like who doesn't want to play with LaMelo Ball, right? So yes, going to the Hornets. It's another like depth type of trade where it's just you're going to round out a few of the weak spots on your team. You're not going to get as good back at the center position, but you're going to get some really solid players back out of it. So we're going to go with Terry Rozier. What I like about Terry Rozier is kind of what I said before about Kobe White, where, Terry Rozier for now comes off the bench, plays a lot of minutes as a 6-man. Eventually, Chris Paul is going to retire, and it's like, okay, we have Terry Rozier for now. That's cool. Like, Terry Rozier is a good, solid player. So you get him. You are also going to get PJ Washington, which, 6'7", 3-and-D type of player. I think nice little dynamic there with Cam Johnson. Like, you're really going to be set that power forward position for many years to come. You're also going to be looking at Kelly Oubre just for, just like a, good score off the bench yet again, man. I mean, slasher, athletic player, can run up and down the court the rest of the team. I've always liked Kelly Oubre. I think he's a fine NBA player. Last season at 15 points, 4 rebounds per game. So, hey, actually, I forgot about this. He actually had, like, his best season on the Phoenix Suns, 19.6 rebounds. So, knows the system, too, right, man? At least in some regards. So, you got him. At this point, you're tossing in Mason Plumlee. Although, I ain't gonna lie. Like, Mason Plumlee would be, like, the vet guy that you would want right now. But if you're going DeAndre Ayton, you might actually ask for Mark Williams. I'm making that switch. I'm going Mark Williams. Like, if you're getting my good young center on your team, like, we want your good young center back. And then I think you probably hit up free agency or the trade market yet again and try to get, you know, maybe Hassan Whiteside, Dwight Howard to fill out for the season. I mean, it's not like the greatest scenario for a team that wants to win a championship, but still. And then Mark Williams to get some run too, obviously. And you're tossing some picks too with this one too, man. So probably one pick, I would say, in this case for DeAndre Ayton. Now, that's a lot to give up, I will say, but once again, not like any like huge big time names here. All right, this next trade and final trade we are going to do is actually going to be a trade with the Portland Trailblazers. Now, this one right here, I can see Portland fans not wanting to do it unless you get to that point, you know, of January 15th, and you're like, okay, like how things are going just isn't really operating. This is going to be a trade of Nurkic to be the new center for the Suns, and also Anfernee Simons. And the reason I say Anfernee Simons is just because, like, it's going to be that case where Damian Lillard is signed up for like another 4 years on his contract. Anfernee, I think, should be a starting point guard in the NBA, but obviously that's going to get table-sided, people say that. You know, he's going to have to play the shooting guard spot now. So if he's just absolutely not working out at shooting guard and you want something new, then I think you do a trade like this, and he would be a six-man for the Phoenix Suns, but obviously not for long with Chris Paul's age and contract and everything. So something like that. You could argue picks, but honestly speaking, I think just like the players straight up in this case is fair enough. And if anything, you might even ask the Suns to give up some additional assets here too, because I do think Anfernee Simons is that type of dude, man. Like last season, 17 points, 4 assists, shot great from 3 and everything, and Nurkic is a good center to have also. So those are the 5 trades that I have. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that I overvalued DeAndre Ayton? Maybe I undervalued him in your guys' opinion? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.